Welcome back to my KEEPUP channel. Hackney shooting, CCTV captures moment hitman on stolen motorbike targets 3 men outside Dalston Turkish restaurant leaving girl, 9, caught in the crossfire, fighting for her life in hospital. Shocking CCTV footage shows the moment a hitman on a stolen motorbike targets 3 men outside a Turkish restaurant in Dalston as a 9-year-old girl was caught in the crossfire, leaving her fighting for her life in hospital. The youngster had been happily eating dinner with her family at the Turkish bistro in Dalston when assassins targeted the 3 men, aged 26, 37, and 42, sitting at the table in front of her at around 9:20 p.m. The schoolgirl was hit by a single stray bullet when 2 gunmen pulled up on Kingsland Road on a motorbike and shot at the 3 men who are believed to be of Turkish heritage, but hit her too. Police said the girl suffered a gunshot wound and remains in hospital in a critical condition. The 3 men, who are not believed to have known the child, are in stable condition, but one potentially faces life-changing injuries. In a heart-wrenching account of the brutal shooting, the owner of the Bistro revealed how the girl's mother crumpled in shock when she saw her daughter shot. Gotzi de Germancy told Mail Online, "The girl was not with the 3 men outside, she was sitting at a table behind them. I think at the moment the shots were fired, she might have been jumping on the chairs. I'm not sure if there was a celebration, but they were having dinner as a family. The child was very lively and really cute. Before it happened, she was very happy. The girl was with her family, her mom and dad and 2 other children. She was part of a 5 or 6 person group. The mother was in a really bad way, as you can imagine, really bad, really bad. We tried to help as much as we could, we tried to stop the bleeding. We gave her water, and we called the ambulance and police. I'm not sure that if our efforts helped. But we helped as much as we could. The mom was in a really bad state. I don't want to try to remember how she was, it's too upsetting. Can you imagine being in her shoes? It's an unimaginable horror. It's so painful, we are so upset about what happened to that child. I'm not sure about who the 3 men sitting in the front are, and if it's some sort of gang war. But the biggest tragedy is clearly the child." He added, "The father was trying to calm everyone down. If I had been in that situation, I would not have been able to remain so calm. There was another child that was very scared. He was trying to be composed to help the mother and the children." Speaking in his native Turkish, Mr. de Germancy told how the shooting lasted only seconds, and he only realized the full extent of the horror after he watched the restaurant CCTV footage of the terrifying incident. He said, "I was in the restaurant when it happened. A group of men were sitting outside at the front of the restaurant and it appears that they were targeted by 2 people on a motorbike. I don't know who the men are, they might have been Turkish, I thought they were speaking in Turkish. It was over pretty quickly, 5 or 10 seconds, 1 minute at the most. Imagine hearing the gunshots and then everyone threw themselves on the floor and tried to protect themselves. There was loads of shouting and then we realized that one of the bullets had hit a child inside. When it was happening, we did not know what was going on, we just heard the gunshots. We didn't really see anything. But later, when we looked at the CCTV, we saw 2 people arriving by motorbike. They get close and then shot at these people. And then they flee." He went on, "I've given the CCTV to the police. The CCTV shows inside the restaurant and outside. It shows everything that happened. We are not allowed back in the restaurant. They didn't even let us clear the tables, all the plates and stuff are still on the tables. At the time it was impossible for us to know how many shots had been fired. But after looking at the CCTV, it appears that 5 shots were fired. 4 people were injured and 1 bullet didn't hit anyone. The ambulance and the police arrived really quickly, within 5 or 10 minutes. I feel terrible. It has been a huge shock." It was also revealed that a stolen motorbike, believed to have been used during the shooting, has been recovered by police. Detective Chief Superintendent James Conway pleaded for people to come forward with information. He began his statement by saying, "It saddens me deeply to say that 3 men and a 9-year-old girl were shot when a firearm was discharged from a motorbike." He added, "I know that local people will be extremely concerned by this incident. We share that concern and an urgent investigation has been launched to identify and apprehend those responsible." Detective Conway said, as with any child, she was an innocent victim of the indiscriminate nature of gun crime. Our thoughts are with her and her family, and they are being supported by specialist officers. After police arrived at the scene within minutes of the crime, 2 crime scenes remain in place at Kingsland High Street and at Culverstone Crescent, where we recovered a motorbike that we believe was used in the shooting and which we now know to have been stolen. Specialist crime colleagues are now working with the police to conduct fast-time inquiries to identify and apprehend those responsible and to establish the motive behind the shooting. Horrifying CCTV footage obtained by The Sun shows the moment the gunman fires bullets at the diners before speeding away down the road. A diner who was at the Evan restaurant at the time of the alleged shooting told the Hackney Gazette how everyone dived under the tables during the chaos and he used his coat to stop the bleeding on someone's leg. There was a big group having dinner in the rear, he said. I couldn't get my usual table, so got one close to the front window. The big group paid up and left, and shortly afterwards that's when the loud bangs, which were obviously gunshots, happened. After everyone scrambled onto the floor, the man saw that someone was injured and he used his coat to stop the bleeding on a leg wound. He continued, I'd say it was around 10 to 15 minutes when the emergency services arrived. Police first, then NHS staff. They were very efficient. Earlier today, it was revealed that the child and 2 of the adults who were among the 4 shot were from the same family. Describing the shooting, one resident said, I don't know who they were targeting, but for a child to be hit. It's just horrendous. I also heard that 2 of the adults hurt are the child's parents, but I'm unsure. The man, who did not want to be named, added, I doubt anyone will give you their names, not when this could be gang violence. A second resident, who also wished to remain anonymous, said, It's so awful. I live just down the road, so it's really shocking to hear. I only found out when I walked up here this morning to get my hair cut. To hurt a kid? I mean, it's messed up. It's the way the world is going these days, and I worry if things will continue to get worse. Dave Evans told how he had walked past the Evan Bistro just minutes before the violence erupted. Mr. Evans, 62, said, I was out last night walking my dog. I must have walked past Evan 5 minutes before the shooting. I was down the road when I heard the noise. There were 6 shots. I knew they were gunshots immediately. I walked back up there before the police got there. It was horrendous. There were bodies on the floor. Blood. It was awful. Cafe workers told how the Evan Bistro is owned and run by a Turkish family and is popular with local residents. A waitress, who asked not to be named, said, I know the family at Evan. They are nice people. What happened there is terrible. Shocking. I heard that Oriole got shot and a baby. Who can shoot a baby? Other residents claimed the shooting could be linked to a dispute between rival drug gangs. One said, It's got to be a drugs hit. Today half-eaten food and drinks remained on tables at the Evan Bistro. A half-drunk glass of beer, abandoned coffee cups and a plate of mixed starters could be seen behind the police cordon. Blood splatter in the floor could be seen amongst the upturned tables and chairs at the popular Turkish cafe. A paramedic's green first aid bag and discarded medical gloves were also abandoned at the scene. Local John Thompson, 57, who has lived in Dalston all his life, claimed parts of the area used to be off-limits due to crime, but it has improved in recent years. Sandringham Road in the cordon used to be a massive no-go zone, he said. Murders, shootings, stabbings, everything. But I do feel like things have gotten better in the past years, so I'm quite surprised to see this. But let's be honest, it's Dalston. There are still bad pockets. Like, if you have something expensive on you, just don't come in the area. I had my bike stolen in the middle of the day, in front of everyone. But this? This is just awful. Horrific. Another person, Antonia, who did not want to share her last name, was in Nando's at the time and said she heard 5 or 6 gunshots and saw a motorcyclist speeding away. She said, at first everyone didn't think it was a shooting, it sounded like a car not working, but we were in Nando's and we just saw people running past. Everyone stepped out to look and we could see loads of people surrounding that shop. The police took ages to come and prior to that we saw the motorcyclist. He went around Nando's on that road. We kind of just wanted to get out of there. Another eyewitness who was on Kingsland High Street after the shooting posted a video to social media, saying, "Someone just got shot 5 times in Hackney, Dalston." Police sirens can be heard in the background as a large group of people stand outside Evan restaurant. Martha, a nearby resident on the high street, told My London that she heard 4 shots. "We heard the shooting and we saw people coming gathering there and we saw ambulances and police cars but nothing else. You don't really realize or think that it's gun shooting. We heard noise, it could be a car, it could be anything. We were worried but not straight away. Then we saw people shouting and the ambulance, so then we started to realize. It came out of nowhere." Miklos, a nearby resident of 20 years, "It's shut down like this maybe once every 2 months. When asked if he thought it was gang violence, well, that's what came to mind right away. If it's not, then it's even worse. Do you feel safe living here?" "No, not so much anymore because I've got a child as well, I just dropped her in nursery." A nearby cafe worker said, "The shooting came from someone on an electric bike. It was automatic shooting, multiple shots. And innocent people got hit. One of them was targeted, there were 3 adults and a child." Local shopkeeper on Kingsland High Street Tahir Sand told My London at the scene, "How can it be possible? We are in London and somebody comes and shoots people. It gives me a very unsafe feeling." Earlier this morning, forensic officers were pictured outside the Turkish restaurant gathering evidence as a police cordon remains in place on Kingsland High Street. Yesterday night, officers, including specialist firearms officers, and London Ambulance Service rushed to the scene. The 3 adults and child were all taken to a major trauma centre at an East London hospital after the attack. No arrests have been made yet and the shooter is still at large. Detective Conway said today in his statement, "The investigation is at an early stage and we are keeping an open mind as to the motive. We are keen to identify other witnesses who were in the area around the scene at the time of the shooting." Similarly, if you were in the Kingsland High Street area at the time of the shooting and have information or footage from a phone or other device, please share that with us. This is a fast-moving, complex investigation, and we will be working closely with our specialist crime colleagues to establish the full facts in the coming days. Locally, people can expect to see a significant police presence in this area, including armed officers, to provide reassurance and support. We will also continue our unrelenting focus on suppressing violence, gun crime, and the offenders who endanger our communities. If you have any information that could assist our investigation, please do the right thing and tell us what you know by calling 101 or anonymously via Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111 or visit crimestoppers-uk.org. Anyone with information that can help police should call 101 or post at METCC reference CAD 8082/29 May. To remain anonymous, call Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111. Source: dailymail.co.uk. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.